Welcome, everyone, to the Divine Feminine Healers Podcast. It is your host, Angelica, spiritual entrepreneur and intuitive healer using all ancient healing modalities such as Ayurveda, yoga, Reiki, Kundalini, and Vedic astrology. Today's podcast episode is going to be a full energy update because we are entering a very potent time of year called Eclipse season, which is a time for reflection and going inward so that it can help us as we go through these grand transformations. That's really what eclipse cycles are all about. Now, before we get into that, I want to talk about Ayurvedically what this time of year is all about, which I've already been discussing on the past two episodes. If you haven't been tuning in, we are currently in Vata season, which happened at the fall equinox around September 21st. And this ignites Vata season, which is a time to ground, to nourish, to cleanse, to clear out the things that we don't need anymore so we can create space and focus on the rituals, the routines, the goals, the visions that are really aligned with our highest morals. And we're going to see themes of this really planting into our new moon in Virgo, which officially is Saturday, October 14th at 10:55 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So during Vata season, when we're out of balance, we can often feel unfocused, overwhelmed, scatterbrained. This can even get as specific as manifesting as bloating and gas and constipation in our digestive system. And this is why it's such a perfect time to ground, get organized, clear the clutter. So if you've been wanting support and getting organized, getting structure, feeling grounded, feeling safe and nourished, my Vata Healing Masterclass is now available. It's only $33. It's a full hour of recommendations, whether that is your diet, your morning routine, your nighttime routine. Not only do I break down what Ayurvedic practices would be best for your unique mind, body, and spirit, but I also give you tips on how you can actually execute these goals. Because most of the time, everyone knows what they need to be doing, especially when they hear it for like the fifth time. But how do they get there? Oftentimes, there's beliefs that's getting in the way, or there's addictive behaviors that are self sabotaging them from completing their goals. So, I walk you through all of this so that you can enter into the fall season feeling grounded and organized and getting closer towards your goals. Now for the energy update. So we officially have the new moon and Virgo this Saturday. And Virgo, I love Virgo sign, especially for this time of year, because Virgo is the sign of grounding, of nourishing and cleansing the body. So the fall is one of the perfect times to cleanse in Ayurveda. This could be a physical cleanse by shifting your diet to be more simple so you can clear out toxins that have built up from the summer. This may also be clearing energetically and relationally. So maybe on social media, you want to minimize your screen time. Or maybe this is just needing to take a break from the external world because summer can really feel like that. We're going to so many different types of events, and you're needing to clear space and make time for yourself to go inward. So, this new moon in Virgo is really casting a shadow for the month ahead on all things getting grounded, cleansing, and getting organized. And these things will be highlighted in the form of a challenge if we're not on top of it and if we don't take action towards them. Now, specifically placed in the Nakshatra of Chitra, Chitra is a star sign that's very much related to our creativity and manifestation. Those who have this placement natally in their birth chart are very ambitious, they're successful. There's a lot of this Mars energy because Mars rules Chitra Nakshatra. But it's also about being in service to others, and there's a sense of justice and morality. I find that this is so poignant given what's going on in the world right now with the war that's emerging in between Israel and Iran. And there's so much sadness, devastation, emotions, anger, and frustration that is occurring right now. And I really think that this devastating challenge and tragic tragedy is asking us to really question our morals. What do we stand for? What do we believe is fair and just? And how that really reflects us being in service to one another. So, I have some journal prompts to help you move through this new moon energy that I'm going to share in just a little bit. But already just start to recognize, how is my morals being in question right now in my personal life? So, this new moon also coincides with the solar eclipse, and the solar eclipse is always related to our paternal lineage because solar and the sun is related to the father. And a solar eclipse is very much related to, what are the wounds that are coming up that we have taken on from our father's side and need to be healed. And it's relating to being in service to others and being in alignment with our highest morals. Or to just start to think what's percolating, what's coming up in your physical reality, and how is it reflecting. That's what I love about these new moons, is that collectively we could be feeling very similar patterns as such, but it shows up so uniquely for each and every one of us. For those of us who are spiritual entrepreneurs, questioning our morals is so important so that we stay in alignment with our dharma, that we are constantly in service to others, because there's so much different energies that we can take on all the time, especially beyond social media, of what we think we need to be doing, that it's very easy just to get out of alignment. And it's difficult when you make that part of your career, being in service to others, because there's the money piece, there's needing to get finances from being in service to others. And that is a fine line a lot of times, of being able to be really strong in what you need and what you offer, and then making sure that it's always in alignment with your highest morals and needs and your wants. I know for myself, I distill my morals down into 4 core values. This is something that I teach my spiritual entrepreneurs. When I first start working with them, I want to know what their 4 core values are, because those serve as the pillars for your whole entire business. I mean, your marketing plan, how you sell, how you show up, your presence, your offerings, literally everything should be imbued from those 4 pillars. It makes things actually very organized and focused, so you don't feel like you have to be in all these different places. But then it also becomes a sense of integrity, where you're held to these standards for yourself. And of course, we're human. We're going to slip out of things. We're going to be like, oof, I haven't been holding up that pillar in a while. I've kind of let that go a little bit. And I've been focusing my energy a little bit more on maybe this addictive behavior that's not actually in my highest alignment. And I love coming back to morals as this compass, because it helps us just to shift. It's that quick little, okay, I need to wrap things up. I need to clean up the clutter, and I need to align with what is really true for me in this moment. And that's in total what I really see this new moon solar eclipse as. So, eclipse season starts this Saturday, and it'll end with the lunar eclipse that will be on October 31st, which I just absolutely love, because Halloween is one of my favorite holidays. And I love that we're having a full moon on Halloween. It's just so special. So, during this kind of 2 week ish period of eclipse season, it's an incubator time to go inward, to be still, and to be in observation mode. For some of us, a lot of things can be shifting. The tectonic plates, if you will, can really be moving, and it can feel scary. However, if we're rooted in our morals and our truth, it's going to be a lot easier to shift with the ground, because we're going to say, oh, yeah, I know why this ground is shifting underneath me. It's happening for my highest morals, which I'm now aligned with. So the universe is going to take away things when it is no longer serving you, and when you really need to shift quickly, it'll do it, take care of it for you. However, if you're not privy to knowing that that actually is for your highest good, if you're not consistently doing inner work, it's going to feel really scary. It's going to feel shocking to the nervous system. And there's going to be a lot of pain, and there's going to be a lot of suffering. That's why I love all these ancient wisdoms, because it's used as preventative medicine. If we know ahead of time, doing the inner work and understanding that we need to make these changes, we can do so and make that, when it actually happens in our physical reality, it actually ends up being a lot more easeful and a lot more graceful. Now, of course, we can't control life, but as long as we can find our inner peace from within, then we can maintain happiness. We can maintain a sense of grace within ourselves. And of course, that's easier said than done. And of course, there's devastating events that happen that we just can't control how we're going to feel and how we're going to emote. And by maintaining an inner peace may not feel authentic to that present moment, but it sure is a practice. And it sure is something that we can try and continue to work on. So here are my journal prompts for this new moon. If you have a journal and a pen, or if you want to pause and get that ready, do so right now. My first question is, what are you cleansing or letting go of this Vata season? And how does this relate to your paternal lineage? So this is the time to clear. This is the time to let go. So if you're not already knowing and thinking of what addictive behaviors, maybe it's something as physical as your diet or some lifestyle practices that you want to get rid of. For me, in the beginning of my cleanse, it was very much about boundaries around social media, needed to clean up my eating habits again, like sitting down and eating my food, chewing thoroughly, making sure that I was eating at the same time every day to really ground my nervous system again. I found that in the summertime, I like to kind of keep things a little more easy breezy and fun. And I was pushing the boundaries, and my body was facing the repercussions of that. So it was really awesome to take that time for myself to cleanse, to go inward, and to restructure my habits so that they felt really good. So what are you letting go of, and how is this related to your paternal lineage? So it's so interesting because it's about 50% of our karma is from our parents. 25% is from maternal lineage. The other 25% is from our father's lineage. And sometimes when I first start working with clients, they may have a fractured relationship with their family that they were born into, which is very normal for a lot of light workers. And they may feel resistant to diving into these lineages. But it's extremely important because your soul did choose to be born into that family for a reason, whether that was pain and suffering or joy and love or a combination of all of that. It wanted to experience that in order for you to make these catastrophic shifts in this very lifetime. So it's very important that you bring consciousness to why you chose those family lineages and why you chose to take on that karmic baggage and how you are transforming it. Because whether you like it or not, you have taken on that karmic baggage from your father's side and from your mother's side. And we're constantly evolving with it. And it's so awesome. I go home all the time and I'm constantly seeing, wow, I am so much like my father in this way. And oh my goodness, I have taken that on. And sometimes it could feel really ugly. Sometimes it could feel really shameful. Sometimes it could feel like you don't want to take on those parts of your parents. I will say there are a lot of parts that I'm super grateful for that I've taken on from my parents. It's not all doom and gloom. I think that there's so much beauty to the relationships that I have grown up with and I'm so grateful for. But I think it's more difficult to come to terms with the parts of myself that I need to admit that I really have taken on, that I really don't want to admit that I've become, but I have. And once you really just recognize that and accept it, it is so much easier to let it go. So very much dig into your paternal lineage and see what is coming up and what needs to be cleared. Next question is, what are 4 core values you embody and express when in service to others? What are 4 core values you embody and express in service to others? So if you're a spiritual entrepreneur, you need to know these off the top of your head. These are the things that hold your business up. They serve as the pillars and they're imbued in literally everything that you do. And for me, they don't change. I might change the name of them a little bit, but these are huge umbrellas that encapsulate a lot of things that I do. So I'll share a few of my core values as an entrepreneur. One of them, and I like to give them really fun names because I just like to make my business as fun as possible. One of the names, my core 4 values, is High Priestess. This is me sharing and connecting to my intuition and then sharing that wisdom with others, being a teacher and embodying this ancient wisdom to the best of my abilities. So I know when I need to develop this value even more, it's always me facing that fear of being seen, knowing that what I'm saying, people want to hear. I'm worthy to have a spot on the stage, to take up space, to have my own platform, to share my voice. And this will come in the shadow form a lot. Actually, I've been getting a lot of flack on my Instagram page recently of not following Ayurvedic perfectly and people doubting my credentials and my certifications and questioning that. And as much as I can get a little angry initially in the beginning when I see those comments, because it's so hurtful sometimes the way that people approach me and the way they speak to me and talking down to me, it feels very disrespectful in a lot of ways. I sit with that emotion and I know I need it to settle because it's triggering something in me that still needs to be healed. I know that I actually am still scared sometimes to share my voice in certain ways. I know that I am sharing more content that's controversial, and that terrifies me because I love pleasing everyone. I want everyone to feel included, especially with my services. I want everyone to feel like they are seen and heard. And when you're growing your business, you just can't do that for everybody. You're not going to win if you do it that way, because then you lose your own authenticity by trying to be for everyone. And you really do have to go into your own lane and really trust that what you feel, your likes and dislikes, your preferences are going to resonate with the core people that you need to resonate with. So that's one of my core values that I'm always working on, and I'm seeing it being reflected in my Instagram right now. Now, my next question is, when are you not in alignment with these 4 core values? So this is kind of something I just took you through with what I'm going through personally, but when are you not in alignment with those core values? I think this is something so important to ask yourself as an entrepreneur a few times a year. I love doing self-reflection at the end of the week for myself just to see what I need to do in my business, but I'll do it every month again. I'll do it 3 months, 6 months. Having these kind of reviews are so important, especially when you're an entrepreneur, because you don't have a boss. You are the boss. You are the CEO. This has been so huge for my business. I actually avoided doing any type of review and going back because I felt like if I did, I would feel so ashamed for everything that I did wrong in my business. And I didn't want to know all the people that I potentially could have had that I missed the boat on, or I didn't want to look back at the content that did not produce as well and to think why it didn't produce as well. I wanted just to constantly be in this positive mindset, because it's so easy to get into this negative mindset as an entrepreneur, and then that really holds you back in your productivity. But when I was able to really see all the things that I might have been ashamed about in my business and was able to really deeply reflect on them, then I started to be even more authentic in my business, because I was able to start speaking and focusing on the key things that I needed to in my business. When you're carrying all the baggage of your past losses and your missed opportunities, it feels heavy. It feels foggy in front of you. But when you clean all of that up and you're able to reflect on why those things didn't work, you can move forward in a more organized and in a more focused way. So I'm all for self reflection and constantly refining how you can be more in alignment with your core values. And my next question is, how can you devote yourself more to your unique dharmic path? So, what is the action steps? Now that you know where you might be out of alignment with your core values, for some of us, this can be those addictive behaviors that are coming up. Maybe we need to clean up our diet, our lifestyle practices, those type of things. And how can you devote yourself more? So for me last month, that was needing to devote myself to an Ayurvedic cleanse again, so that I can restructure my habits and build strong boundaries with myself again. And when I do that with myself, it becomes so much easier to do that with other people and to really stand in what I need and want and make sure that I get that in return. So I hope you take the time just to reflect on those 4 core values that you stand for and that you want to stand for when you're in service to others. It's such a great time to reflect on that and give yourself lots of space and time to rest and to go inward for these next 2 weeks during eclipse season. I'm totally here for you if you need more supports, because I know that these times can bring lots of shifts and transformations, and I'm holding all of my Israeli and Palestinian friends in a lot of love. I know everyone's going through a lot. I'm sending healing prayers to those who are affected right now. And you can just send me a DM. I'm going to do a ceremony this weekend and send healing energy to anyone in specific need if you'd like me to. Otherwise, I'll just be sending healing energy to those parts of the world and who is deeply affected by what is going on right now. think the best thing that we can do is make sure that we still take care of ourselves so that we can show up for the people that really need us. I think constantly digesting all of this traumatizing events can be harmful in its own ways. And I think there's definitely a balance between making sure you have the knowledge and the information to the best of your ability that you can get, and then also taking your time to yourself to heal and be able to hold space for others if they need it and if you have that capacity. If you are wanting more support, I'm going on IG Live and it'll be posted on my Instagram. So you can watch this on my Instagram. I'm going to be providing more live support for those who are moving through these energies. If you want more support and finding what your 4 core values are, we're going to be doing this in my new moon ceremony, which is Tuesday, October 17th at 11:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's recorded if you cannot make it live, but definitely come live because we workshop these questions and then I can give you personal feedback. And I also give channeled messages when we go through our Reiki healing experience at the end of the ceremony. So everyone gets to lie down, receive the healing waves of the Reiki energy. This clears energetic blockages and it also helps you to connect you to your spirit guides so that you can receive messages from them. It's really one of my favorite healing practices that I do for myself at least a few times a month. And it's so nice to be in the receiving mode. End of that. So in that ceremony at the end, I'll share any messages that may have come through and spirit animals that may be giving you certain medicine at this point in time in your life. And you can sign up with that with the link in the show notes as well. Lastly, I have an Ayurvedic dinner party officially in California, Silver Lake, happening on Saturday, November 4th with my friend Jaskrit from Inner Garden Healing. We are going to have an Ayurvedic meal. It's a 4-course meal that is geared around Vata season. I am so excited. And Jaskrit is also an Ayurvedic educator, and she also works on sourcing ingredients and plants and herbs and all of her food sustainably and organically. So, to the best of our ability, this whole meal is going to be organic and sustainably sourced. It's also just going to be a conscious evening of a lot of like-minded humans who either love Ayurveda or they love conscious eating and they want to have these deep and spiritual conversations. I'm going to open up the space for that, and it's just going to be a really beautiful, cozy evening of nourishment and fun and laughs. We have some amazing Ayurvedic sponsors like Pavani and Rasa Ayurveda and Banyan Botanicals who are going to be sponsoring this event. So you're going to get lots of Ayurvedic goodies, and I am just over the moon excited for this. Tickets are selling fast. I haven't posted this on my Instagram just yet, but I'm going to be posting on that coming days. And we do expect the event to sell out because we only have limited seating available. So if you're thinking about this, definitely jump on it. And I'm so excited to bring more events of these, even outside of California, in the coming months. All right, everyone, that is all I have for today. If you love this episode, please share it with a friend or family member who would love it too. And I would adore you if you could comment, rate, or review on either Spotify or Apple Podcasts or both. That would mean the world to me. I hope everyone has a beautiful start to their eclipse season. I will see you all next week. Happy new moon, happy solar eclipse, happy Vata season, and happy healing.